Partly cloudy, windy, 53 tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, not as windy, 79. Sunday, sunny, high of 82. Staff meteorologist John Weatherby, Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
76 degrees right now, and the Dow is down 23 points at 17,903. NASDAQ down 6 at 4939. The S&P 500 down 2 at 2,080. And reporting for Money Radio, I'm Ken Morgan.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We're a weekly show found right here on Money Radio, 1510 AM, 99.3 FM, and on the World Wide Web at moneyradio1510.com. We're coming at you live today. It is supposed to be tax day, but the federal government's given us till Monday, so it's April 15th, 2016, and we're coming to you from the studios here in the Scottsdale Air Park. And if you're just tuning in, my name is Bob Roth. I'm your host, and my family owns a home care agency called Cypress HomeCare Solutions, and our goal is to keep our older adult population safe and secure in the home and afford them that opportunity to age successfully in place. And how do we do that? We do that by providing exceptional caregiving, and we do that by providing exceptional caregivers. And as I've said before on our show, and I'll say it again today, we're always looking for good people. So if you're tuning in and you're one of those good people, or if you know of somebody, a neighbor, friend, family member that wants to make a difference in someone's life, the greatest thing about being a caregiver, you can work as many or as little hours as you want. It's a great way to supplement your income. And the show here, Health Futures, is exactly as it describes. It really is about the future of healthcare, and it's the future for our older adult population and how they can live a healthier, happier life. And I'm able to do this show because I bring outstanding guests to the audience, to you, our listeners, and be able to share with you some of the challenges, some of the things that are going on, both good and bad, in healthcare. And we really get a chance to talk about the issues, but more so we get a chance to talk about some of the solutions that are being developed and some of the solutions that are here today. And today is no different. Like I said, I got a great guest here on the show, and I want to welcome to our listening audience Dr. Troy Comstock. He is with HomeCare Arizona. And if you're not familiar with HomeCare Arizona, it's a network of primary care physicians, specialty docs, and hospitals that provide Medicare-eligible patients with personalized and collaborative medical care. Welcome to the show, Dr. Comstock.
Thank you, Bob.
Is it okay if I call you Troy?
Absolutely.
Troy, welcome to the show. And today, I know that is a big day because other than it being tax day, and they gave us a holiday till Monday, tomorrow is a very, very important day. And I would like to share with our listening audience, we've talked about it every year, but today or tomorrow is National Healthcare Decisions Day. And I want to talk about that because, you know, we've talked about it here on the show about having the conversation with our loved ones and specifically talking about end of life and how they would like their wishes to be carried out.
That's right. That's what the day is all about, is taking the time to step back and intentionally have that discussion and to think about what you want and your loved ones want out of that end-of-life experience.
And, you know, we've talked about it before, but I want to talk about it today. that's not a conversation you have once.
No.
It's an ongoing conversation. It's a hard conversation to start, and certainly, Troy, I'd love to get some tips on how do we start this conversation, because, everything isn't rainbows and unicorns, and we like to think it is, and we live in a great place like Scottsdale, and today's weather, it's probably in the high 70s, maybe low 80s. It's one of the greatest places to live, but we also have to think about some of the other things. I mean, let's face it, Ben Franklin had a great quip, and that is, nothing in life is certain, but one thing is death and taxes. And we know tax day's on Monday, but we also know we don't know when our deaths or our demise is going to be upon us.
No, absolutely. It is a difficult conversation. I think we fear these types of conversations. They're not comfortable. We're not familiar with how to have the conversation or what to even talk about or how to direct the conversation. So to start it, I think you need to come at it with a loving spirit and an attitude, saying that, I really want to make sure that you are well cared for as a loved one, speaking from a patient's perspective, saying that I don't want you to be confused and upset and anxious at the time of my passing. I want you to be at ease and comfortable. And what a tremendous love gift to your loved ones to make sure that they are well cared for during that time, not just you. So it's incredibly important to come at it with the understanding that we're doing this together to make sure that your loved ones are cared for, as well as you at the end of your life.
Now, you're taking it from the perspective from the older adult. And oftentimes it doesn't start with the older adult.
Absolutely not.
And our key listener is usually the adult child. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how do we get that conversation started? Because we care and love our parents and our grandparents, but we need to have this conversation. And breaking that ice is never an easy thing. And I love it if an older adult can start that conversation.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't always happen that way.
No, absolutely. And Bob, I would go back to say that this is a topic for all of us. This is a topic for you and me, that we need to make sure that we're talking early. As you said, it's multiple conversations through our life as we change and our conditions change from a medical perspective. So I come back to, as an older adult that might be caring for an older loved one or mother or father, that coming at it again with saying, look, this is important for me to understand what you want. This is important for me to understand during your life's journey, how do you want that part of your life to go? What is most important? What are your goals? It's very important for me because I will be asked to speak for you, and I don't want to do something that you wouldn't want. And I think that's the way to go at it. If you want an excuse, tell them your doctor told you.
Right.
So he said, if you feel comfortable, I always welcomed starting that discussion as a physician, and actually look forward to having that discussion and participating in it. Because in order to have it, you need to know what to talk about. So what can I expect from my disease process? If I have a chronic disease, what does that look like into the later stages as I age? And I don't know that anyone else can really describe that as well as a physician. Certainly you can get other information, but if the physician is part of your healthcare provider network, then that's an important place to go.
Absolutely. It's a very important place to go. And the other thing is we're talking about a disease process, but we're also not talking about getting run over by that bus.
Absolutely.
And those are things that we don't anticipate.
That's right.
And, oftentimes, and I've heard it quoted, 90% of the time, you're going to live. And how do you want to live that life?
Exactly.
And we need to understand that as family members, as children, and as nieces and nephews and extended family. How does that one person want to live their life? And having those discussions are really hard. Mm-hmm. They are,
but absolutely necessary.
There's a website that you turned me on to, and it is put on by the Aging with Dignity folks. Mm-hmm. And I want to just bring this out to everybody who's listening in right now. They've got this thing called 5 wishes. And we're about to take a break, so we'll get a little bit more into it when we come back from the break. But, if you're just tuning in, agingwithdignity.org is their website, and you can learn a little bit more about the whole thing about the 5 wishes. And the 5 wishes are helping you memorialize a loved one's wishes.
That's right.
And that's the important thing, writing it down.
Absolutely.
Well, as you can hear by the music, we're down one segment. This comes on us really fast. We're talking about something that's not sexy, but it's something that we really need to talk about as families. It's not something you have one conversation. It's an ongoing conversation. You're listening to Health Futures. My name is Bob Roth. I've got Dr. Troy Comstock from HomeCare, Arizona here in the studios. We'll be right back.
Now it's time for the Secured Financial Solutions Educated Investor Series.
What is something that your team of advisors addresses that separates you from other advisors?
During our first strategy session, we help you understand a risk that may not be addressed by some advisors, and that risk is known as sequence of returns risk.
Okay, what is sequence of returns risk?
Well, a lot of clients and advisors like to think of the stock market returns as a steady year over year. For example, if I can average 5% per year, then my money will last. The huge flaw in this type of thinking is that the stock market does not move up in steady annual returns. When you are in the distribution phase of your life, the timing of large losses in the stock market can have a huge impact on how long your money will last and how much you can spend in retirement.
So what does your firm do to help manage sequence of returns risk for your clients?
Well, we integrate 2 different solutions to come up with a comprehensive plan to address this risk. First, we use a blend of what, in our opinion, are the best breed of money managers that focus on being opportunistic in good times and defensive in bad times during full market cycles. We pair them with the concept of the principal-protected, low-cost, new generation annuity to offer guaranteed growth for lifetime income and death benefit based on the specific goals that we are trying to accomplish.
Opportunistic in good times and defensive in bad times. As an educated investor, are you looking for an investment advisory firm with that investment philosophy? Be empowered with facts and call 800-957-5604 extension 200 to set up your complimentary strategy session, or visit dreamretire.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Horder Investment Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Security transactions for Horder Investment Management clients are placed through TD Ameritrade, Trust Company of America, and ED&F Man Capital Markets. Annuity products are offered separately through Script Financial Solutions, LLC.
Hear Maps, the free app that helps you beat the jam with live traffic info and public transit schedules. Get it now at here.com/commute.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. And if you're just tuning in, we're on our second segment. And if you missed the first segment, you can catch it up on our website at cypresshomecare.com. And you can catch about 100 others that we've been bringing to you for the last 3 years. We also, if you're just tuning in, we have HomeCare Arizona in the studio. Specifically, we have Dr. Troy Comstock. And we're talking about National Healthcare Decisions Day, which is tomorrow. And this is a topic, as I was saying, as we were closing the last segment. It's not a sexy topic at all, but it's a conversation that we need to have. And I was talking to Dr. Comstock, Troy. I was talking to you about how do you have this conversation. So can you help our listening audience so just a little bit more about how do you have that conversation?
Bob, one thing that I think is important is to have some type of a roadmap for that conversation. It's because it's so foreign to most of us that don't work within the healthcare community, that it's important to have a tool that we can walk through with the family in order to start it. So most of us don't even know the first question to ask.
Right.
So that's why we at HomeCare provide our members with this 5 wishes document, just to allow them to talk through it.
Can I review what those wishes
Go
are?
right
So
ahead.
there are
Yes.
5 wishes, and The first wish is the person I want to make healthcare decisions for me when I can't make them for myself. So that's a medical power of attorney, right?
That is correct, yes. And a very important step. If you don't clearly say who you want to speak for you, then someone else will make that decision for you, and you may not like that decision.
Exactly. And also this form that you have, it has alternates too, in case that person you decide on is not available or is predeceased as you.
Correct.
At least you have somebody.
Right.
The second wish is my wish for the kind of medical treatment I want or don't want.
Right.
And specifically, you're talking about resuscitating and brain damage and stuff like that, right?
Right. Exactly. So if your heart were to stop, would you want CPR? Would you want resuscitation? If you were to quit breathing, would you want to be on a respirator? The medical part of it, the nuts and bolts, so to speak, of what type of intervention you would want in those situations.
And the third wish is for how comfortable I want to be. And what does that exactly mean?
Well, as you can well imagine, a lot of these interventions cause discomfort. And for that reason, you may say, I don't want them, if that's what they cause.
Right.
Do you want to be in your home? Do you want to be in the hospital? Would you prefer to be in an inpatient hospice facility? I think those are some of I know that those are some of the important issues that you need to talk about. If you say clearly, I do not want to be in a hospital when I pass, then we need to get a plan together so that your needs can be met in a setting other than a hospital.
And then the fourth wish is my wish for how I want people to treat me. And basically it is, comfort.
Right.
It's who's in the room.
Exactly. And those, again, are important parts of the experience. Very important. Who is around you, who you would like around you, who you want notified, who you don't want notified. I hate to say it, but again, this is an experience that you really want to direct as much as possible.
And also, and when I think about this too, is a lot of people, and I want to talk about hospice. A lot of people think hospice is a place. It's a concept.
It is a concept.
It's a concept, and people think that there's a place that they go to die. How I wish I want people to treat me can be, I want to be treated at home.
Correct.
And this is where I want to end. This is where I want my end of life to happen.
The vast majority of people, that's what they want.
Nice.
And that's what they should have.
I agree.
And there are ways to make that happen that are just foreign to a lot of people. They just don't understand. So until you have this conversation and answer those questions and get that plan in place, it can be a mystery. And things will happen that you don't want to have happen.
Right, exactly. And then the fifth wish is something you brought up before, my wish for what I want my loved ones to know. Yeah. And basically, we fill out forms now, presently, especially when I do care, in terms of who is to know about the medical care that is being provided for the people at Cypress that we're caring for.
Right.
So there may be family members that you don't want to let know what's going on.
Right.
But you, at least while you're of sound mind, you can make that determination.
Exactly. And, one of the things in my experience in taking care of patients in end-of-life settings is that there are people that they hadn't thought of, especially in that stressful environment in those last days. All of a sudden, somebody from out of state comes in that hadn't been a part of their life for quite some time, but desperately wants to be a part of this experience. And so if we could at least intentionally identify who those people are and bring them into the conversation early, that will help the experience tremendously.
And, with this holiday, and I know, believe it or not, we're going to be done in this segment before you know it, with this demarcated day, if you would, allow it the opportunity as our listening audience to absorb what we've shared with you. Certainly do your own research. I mentioned agingwithdignity.org as a site. You certainly can contact OptumCare, and you can reach OptumCare at www.optumcare.com, and that's OPTUMCARE.com, or you can call 877-901-4979. But they have these forms.
Exactly.
And I believe that the Attorney General's office has these forms under TASA, which is the Task Force Against Senior Abuse. And I also think the Secretary of State's office has them too. So we just need to make sure we memorialize our wishes, how we want the end of life to be. And it's not just for our older adults. Troy, I'm looking at you. It's for you and me, and it's for Leslie that's sitting in the room as well. We need to memorialize them, because it's one thing to say something to somebody, but it's another to put it down in writing.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's interesting because I was sharing a story with you at the break, and, you know, if you don't have these conversations, you take actions, and you're not sure if you're acting upon their wishes. And, you know, I talk about my mother all the time. She's the reason why I am in this business that I do in terms of providing care for so many in our community. And I talked to my brother, Jonathan, who was there towards the end of life for my mother. And I talked to him on my mother's birthday, and we were talking about how we couldn't believe it's been 13 years. And he kind of sounded like he was a little down in the dumps. And I said, you know, what's going on? And he said, you know, I kind of have some regret. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm the one that made the decision to intubate her, and I wish I hadn't. And I said, are you kidding me? She would have wanted it. But we didn't know. We really didn't know. And I mean, I think too many of us are living our lives taking actions that, you know, we regret.
Absolutely.
And we look back and say, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely. You know, Bob, I've experienced that conversation so many times as a practicing physician, that after the event, loved ones come to me and say, Doc, did I do the right thing? Because I just didn't know. And it's a stressful situation. You have to make those decisions very quickly. Sometimes you're not there, or you're on the phone, and it even escalates the stress. And so without question, that's why we say having this discussion early, having it documented, making sure that the right people are involved in that discussion, it not only benefits the person at the end of their life, but also the family, so that they can have that assurance, yes, I did what my loved one wanted.
Exactly. And that's all we can ask. And and certainly, you know, one of the things that we've talked about on the show, and we talked about it earlier, is comfort and making sure somebody's comfortable. And I think that, you know, there's that mindset that we need to cure everybody. And you know, Troy, you have seen in your practice over the years where you just sometimes need to say, we've gone as far as we can. And comfort should be where our priority is.
Right.
And we have a mission that we need to educate people about memorializing their wishes, but also at the same time knowing that we can't cure everybody, but we can make people comfortable at the end of days.
Absolutely. You know, you're talking about developing a treatment plan, and with developing a treatment plan, you really have to have informed consent and understanding that, yes, we can try to provide a cure. We can, but this at this cost and with these consequences and these side effects. But through it all, what are your goals of care? Doc, I want to be comfortable. I don't want to experience pain. Well, let's talk about that and how we need to treat that and whether or not that fits in with that treatment plan. So, again, always understanding what really the goals of care are for that individual.
And the one thing I want to conclude, because we're about ready to come up on a break, you can make somebody comfortable as a physician or a healthcare practitioner and still remain lucid and present.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
And I think too many people think that they just pump them up with drugs.
No.
And they put them up with morphine and they just don't feel anything. No, they can be comfortable and still be present.
Absolutely.
Dr. Troy Comstock, it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you.
He's with HomeCare Arizona. He's the Chief Medical Officer. If you have any questions, you can reach them at www.optumcare.com or 877-901-4979. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We're at halftime. We'll be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
The NBA will not pull its 2017 All-Star Game out of Charlotte, North Carolina, despite pressure to do so after the state recently passed a law removing some protections for the LGBT community. Polo Sandoval covering a league meeting in New York.
One of the reasons why the game will move on as scheduled in about 10 months or so will be because if it would get yanked out of the state, then it could potentially send a mixed message, given that, of course, there is a North Carolina team that is in the NBA playoffs.
The Texas Republicans are gearing up for a possible debate on leaving the U.S. The Houston Chronicle reports at least 10 county GOP parties passed secession resolutions, meaning it might be taken up during next month's state convention in Dallas. The White House pressuring Congress today to move faster in approving emergency funding needed to fight the fast-spreading Zika virus. Spokesman Josh Earnest.
This is a basic responsibility that they have, and that the safety and security and well-being of the American people depends upon them doing their jobs.
The President asked Congress for $2 billion in February. I'm Michael Toscano.
I recently received my doctorate in astronomy, so mapping trans-Neptunian planets is a cakewalk. But tracking the trajectory of my financial future? Not so much. Fortunately, I've got TIAA. They helped me figure out a long-term personalized plan for my finances that I'm, well, over the moon about.
See how we're helping those who do good do well at the new TIAA.org. TIAA, created to serve, built to perform.
So, Dave, would you say your lawn is army green or hunter green?
I'd say more shamrock green.
Wow, greenest green I've ever seen.
Thanks to new Ironite from Pennington. It's loaded with iron and turned my yellow lawn to green. Fast. It's a green machine.
I'm jealous, but that means more mowing.
No way. Ironite greens without the growth surge other fertilizers cause, so I relax and enjoy the green.
Well, I'm turning green with envy.
Better to turn green with Ironite.
New Ironite from Pennington. Turn your yellow lawn greener than green without extra mowing. Want to know all there is to know about money? Then just continue to do what you're doing. That, of course, is listening to 1510 AM or 99.3 FM. Money Radio.
Now here's your Bloomberg Tax Tip brought to you by the financial planning team at IQ Wealth Management.
This is a Bloomberg Tax Tip on health spending accounts. If you had an FSA account last year that lets you take money from your salary pre-tax to pay for medical expenses, look to see if it has any remaining balance left from 2015. Some employers will now let you carry over up to $500 from last year through this year. Others will let you spend it, but only until the middle of March. So check out your company's policy, because you don't want to leave tax-free money on the table. I'm Peggy Collins, Bloomberg Radio.
Why pay more to have your taxes professionally prepared by a licensed CPA with a master's degree in taxation? For a limited time, IQ Wealth clients and Money Radio listeners may have their taxes prepared for 50% of what they paid to prepare last year. That's individual or business. Some restrictions apply. For details, call 480-902-3333. Appointments fill fast. Call now, 480-902-3333.
In a community of Alliance's entrepreneurs, opportunity never takes a break. Alliance's heroes unmask the secrets of heroes in business every Saturday morning. David Kogan of Alliance's interviews heroes in business, revealing the superpower of inventors, investors, politicians, Inc. 500 companies, startups, and celebrities. Your life changes the moment you unlock the secrets from Alliance's heroes with David Kogan. Alliance's heroes, Saturday mornings at 8 on Money Radio.
There's only one thing guaranteed in life. You will die. Are you prepared? A will and trust is only one step in the process. Now, what do you do with them? Papers get destroyed. Combinations to safes get lost. DocumentTrunk.com provides you with a safe, proactive approach to storing and distributing your last words. Don't take chances with your family's future. DocumentTrunk.com is the only place guaranteed to be there. Visit DocumentTrunk.com today
and enter coupon code MONEYRADIO to get your first 3 months free.
Join Daniel Bustamante, co-founder of Landshark Analytics and LongShortRadio.com, and learn to trade from the pros. Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. on The Financial Review.
I'm Bruce Vail with your Money Now. Apple shares are down nearly 2% on the heels of a report in a Japanese newspaper that iPhone demand remains sluggish. The report said Apple is continuing reduced production of its iPhone into the current quarter in reaction to slow sales of its iPhone 6S and some 6S Plus smartphones. The report also sent shares of some of Apple's suppliers lower. The broader market remains lower, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 27 points. The Nasdaq Composite is off 7, while the S&P 500 is down 2 points. What's more important to you, lower prices or a label that says Made in America? Most people say lower prices. According to a new Associated Press poll, nearly 75% of those surveyed said they would like to buy goods made inside the U.S., but those items are often too costly or difficult to find. Only 9% said they only buy products made in the USA. That's your Money Now.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details.
If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, final availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. And we're on our third segment, and we're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. It is tax day, although they gave us an extra day. We have till Monday to pay our taxes, but it's April 15th, 2016. And we just finished up with Dr. Troy Comstock, and he was from Optum, Arizona, and we were talking about the National Healthcare Decisions Day. So please, my listening audience, take some of those nuggets that Dr. Comstock shared with us, especially those 5 wishes, to heart. Think about it over the weekend. It is not one conversation. It's an ongoing conversation to talk about your loved ones and their wishes, their medical wishes, and how they would like to live their final days and end of life. And with that, I want to shift gears because I've got a new guest on the line, and he's coming at us from the telephone, and he's calling in. I've got Dave Alzetta. He's the CEO of United Healthcare of Arizona. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate the opportunity to be on today.
Well, it's good to have you on. And, I want to just share with our listening audience, while our show is a show about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life, when I come across a guest that has something that is very powerful and meaningful for our community, I want to make time for people like you, Dave, because you are with United Healthcare, and the company that you're representing is United Healthcare's Children's Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about United Healthcare Children's Foundation?
Oh, absolutely. And again, thank you for this opportunity. United Healthcare Children's Foundation, it's a 501c3 charitable organization. Foundation's mission is to provide medical grants to help children gain access to medical services. Maybe it's equipment that may not be covered by their parents' commercial health insurance plan, or may not be fully covered by the parents' plan. And the parents don't even need to be insured by United Healthcare to be eligible to apply for these grants.
And the grant gives them and affords them the opportunity to pay for things that they can't pay for themselves, or their health plans cannot, or that don't pay for them, correct?
That's right. So services like, well, first of all, the grants are issued in up to $5,000 per grant. There's a $10,000 lifetime maximum per child. I think that's important to know as well. And the money could be used for equipment. It could be used for physical, occupational, or even speech therapy, counseling services, prescriptions, wheelchairs. There's really quite an extensive number of services that could be provided to these families.
And I want to just share with our listening audience, and if you could just walk us through this, because, one of the things for me in the business world, and I do a lot of not-for-profit work, and I've shared with our listening audience, I serve on the board for the Banner Alzheimer's Foundation, and we do some great things in the community. I'm a benefactor to Jewish Family and Children's Services, a great secular social service community organization. I know a little bit about grants, and this is where I wanted to go with this, Dave, is, grants sometimes are, and I'm talking about those charitable grants that have to be written, are like very intensive, and there's something that you can't do like in a weekend or you can do in a day. They're exhaustive and they require so much information. Can you share with our listening audience what is involved in making an application for a grant for a child that might need some of these additional services or equipment and stuff like that?
Well, a family that is interested in applying for a grant, first of all, doesn't need a lot of extra work. They don't need the stress of chasing down all kinds of information and filling out pages and pages of applications. This, this process is a fairly simple process. You go to the website, and it's a website I hope we could say a number of times on the program
well,
today.
Please say it once right now for the first time.
It is www.uhccf, as in foundation.org. It's a great site. It will walk you through the application process. We say it takes between 15 to 20 minutes. You're answering some very straightforward questions. The process also requires a certification from your family physician who's treating your child. But beyond that, it's a fairly simple process. One I don't think anybody should be intimidated about. And, Bob, I think it's important that we bring this information to our community. I can tell you, over the years, since the foundation has been in force, which goes all the way back to 1997, but mostly in the last number of years, we just recently awarded our 10,000th medical grant.
Wow!
Totaling almost $29 million. But here's something I think is important for our community to understand. Only 200 grants have been awarded in Arizona in the last 5 years. Now, that totals up to about $500,000, a significant amount of money, but the resources are there. I think it's important, and I appreciate this opportunity to be on your program, to educate and promote this wonderful program to parents who might have children who are in need of the services that we just mentioned earlier.
So what I'm hearing you say, that this is so underutilized, and it's a resource that's out there that we as a organization, and I'm talking about our radio show here today, needs to put that awareness out there, because our listening audience is listening in right now, whether they know of someone directly or they may know of someone indirectly that could benefit from this, because listen, there's nothing more challenging than not being able to get the resources that you need, especially with someone that may be infirmed or ill or fighting some type of disease.
That's absolutely correct. The resources are there. There's no deadline to apply. They can just go right online. There's a regional board of directors made up of some employees within United Healthcare, some representatives and volunteers from the community, general communities in the West region, which is everybody west of Colorado. Physicians, they review the applications every month. They get together. They're looking for opportunities. We're looking for opportunities to award these grants to help children live a higher quality of life. These are services that many times in a commercial policy there might be some limitations. You're allowed so many visits or so many therapy visits for physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy. The grant could help fund the needed services beyond what their parents' insurance policy would provide for.
And I'm cruising through this website, Dave, and I'm going to tell you, not only is it powerful and it's got everything that you need on this website, but The thing that I'd like to indicate, too, for our listening audience, and you're not making that appeal here today, but you can donate at this website. And I am just enthralled at the number of corporate sponsors you've got here. And most of these are household names. And a lot of them are names I've never heard of, but you've got a lot of support to keep this program going. And it sounds like to me it's just underutilized, and we need to get the word out.
Here's the coolest thing about the support of this organization, Bob, is that we have, any individual can certainly donate, and we welcome and have many corporate sponsors, as you just mentioned. But the strongest and the biggest base of our support come from the over 200,000 United Health Group employees around the world. It is a foundation and a charitable organization that I think you'd be really hard-pressed to find a United Healthcare employee who hasn't supported it in one way or another. And if you think about that, in the state of Arizona, we have over 6,500 United Healthcare employees, all of whom know very well about the United Healthcare Children's Foundation. We need to do, so any United Healthcare employees listening, Optum employees included, we need to do a better job promoting this wonderful organization and the resources that are available to children in our community.
I know we're coming up on a break, Dave, and I hope you stay for our fourth segment. We're going to talk a little bit more, and I'd love for you to give some examples of some of the gifts and some of the awards, should I say, some of the sponsorship dollars that have gone to the beneficiary of these dollars that we're talking about. As you can hear, we got music on. We're done. We're done our third segment. Dave, I'm glad you'll be back. You're listening to Health Futures Taking Stock in You. My name is Bob Roth. I'm your host. I've got United Healthcare Children's Foundation in the studio, or on the studio, or on the line, however you want to say it. Dave Alzetta, CEO, United Healthcare of Arizona, is with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dean.
And I'm Rick, the Professor Plum.
Every day on Bucket Strategy Investing, we're talking about financial planning, investment decisions, and retirement strategies.
We focus on wealth education and the strategy designed for the needs you have today
and the goals you have for the future. Tune in to Bucket Strategy Investing.
And call in with questions.
Retirement strategies, taxes, Social Security, and more. That's what we're talking about on Bucket Strategy Investing.
Laura Bramnick is a real estate agent and a real estate attorney and a consumer advocate. Real estate transactions can be complicated, and Laura Bramnick can be your champion to cut through the fine print and find solutions. For more information, visit talkrealestateaz.com or call 480-624-2705. That's 480-624-2705. To talk with Laura, call 480-624-2705.
Get total freedom in your life safely and quickly. Build wealth and passive income so you never worry about working till you drop, losing your job, or retiring in poverty. Hi, I'm Steve Davis, an investor in thousands of units over the years. Now it's your turn. Del Walmsley has been my mentor for nearly 25 years, and he's taught over 100,000 people just like you the principles of financial freedom through live one-on-one mentoring at Lifestyles Unlimited and his national radio show. I'm excited to tell you about the real estate workshop that changed my life. The workshop gets you on the inside of what we do and what we believe and unlocks the 5 ways we make money in real estate. Just like your personal trainer, Lifestyles Unlimited will motivate, encourage, and teach you so you can get in the best financial shape of your life. Call 866-971-8970 or go to luiphoenix.com. That's luiphoenix.com to register for the workshop that will change your life and let you stop worrying about working till you drop, losing your job, or retiring in poverty.
Here Maps. Hit the open road with free offline turn-by-turn guidance that works anywhere. Get it for your phone at here.com/offline.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you're listening to Health Futures. We're just getting ready to start our fourth segment, and if you missed the first three, you can catch them right up on our website at cypresshomecare.com. You can catch this show, and you can catch about 100 others that we've been bringing to you since 2014. So I've got on the telephone right now, that's easy for me to say, Dave Alzetta, and he is the CEO of United Healthcare of Arizona, and we're talking about the United Healthcare Children's Foundation. And I got to tell you, Dave, amazing. You said it was since 1998. Was that the year you guys got started on this?
1997.
1997.
We started. But really, it's only been brought out nationally since 2007. So our community here has had access to the resources for about the last 9 years or so.
So really, in the last 9 years or so, we've only, and I'm making this appeal to our listening audience, we've only put out 200 grants. And what I'm hearing you say, we have more dollars there to give. We just need to find recipients of those dollars, people that could benefit from this incredible charity that can make a difference not only in the child's life, but in their family's lives. And that's the message that we want to get out. At the break, I was talking to Leslie, and she was sharing with me some of the other things that you're doing. Can you share with us the children's books and the toys that have been created?
Oh, the children's books are great. I just bought them for my 7-year-old granddaughter who loves to tell me the latest jokes that she's read. So these books, there's always something on the corporate on the website that talks about the different things kids like. And right now, I think there are 3 joke books that you can buy. The money goes right to the foundation. We also have books on Oliver and Hopes, which is a story about a little bear and the things that he goes through. But we try to make it fun. We try to keep it very, very much focused on kids, and great way to make your money do something good.
And can you get these books on your website?
Yes, and again, that website is uhccf.org.
And again, that's CC as in Charlie. And I got to tell you,
Charlie, United Healthcare Children's Foundation, and that's the acronym there. Yes.
And I got to tell you, I mean, I've been moseying through this website, and it is so intuitive, so easy to read. I went to the application process, and you flowcharted it. I mean, you can't make it any easier. So, I mean,
right.
When I opened up the last segment, I talked to you about some of the challenges that we deal with in the nonprofit world getting grants. And they are so laborious and take so much time and so much research. You've made this really painless. I mean, it's a simple, easy, just follow the flowchart step process and hit submit. And you guys review them. What is the timeline in getting back to somebody on the grant?
Well, the board meets monthly.
Okay.
So once your application is submitted, I'm not quite sure exactly what the deadline is for a particular monthly board meeting, but it's a fairly regular process. I would say that you're going to be somewhere in the 30-day range of finding out the status of an application.
And I got to ask you another question. Is there anything excluded? I mean, obviously you put a lot of information in there, and I know that children are going through various treatments for different reasons. Are you inclusive of everything in terms of awarding these grants?
Well, it's a very broad description of equipment and services that we can provide funding for. But there are some exclusions. Those exclusions are also listed on the website. It has to be medical and healthcare in nature.
Got it.
And again, it's a pretty broad range that we cover. I don't have the exclusions in front of me. They're on the website, though. But if you see some the things that we do provide, it's focused on healthcare, things that are going to help make a child's quality of life better while they're going through whatever healthcare challenges they may be faced with.
I'm just floored. I mean, I really am, and it blows me away because I want to help you guys get this message out. And please, if you're listening, if you're listening in and you've got a loved one, friend, family member, somebody you know that has a child that is very unfortunately dealing with an illness or a disease and could be benefiting from this, please go out to this website and it's uhccf.org and begin the process now. And it sounds like to me it's really 30 days. It may take 45 maybe on the top end to get a response back. They have the money to give. And if you're listening in too and you want to be a benefactor and contribute to this, Dave's not asking us. I'm making the appeal. If you're a corporation or if you're an individual and you want to contribute to this, they'll accept your donations. We're actually we're coming to a close very shortly, and Dave, I want to give you an opportunity to maybe share a story that you have witnessed or experienced yourself through this foundation and what you guys are doing.
Well, it works out that the one individual that I did have some sort of experience with was a little guy named Carson. He's 6 years old, happens to be the same name as my grandson Carson, and he was a young man who was diagnosed with a hearing loss. And through the United Healthcare Children's Foundation, we provided a grant to help him get new hearing aids, and it got him back into school. He's working with other kids, and now the parents don't have to worry about those extra expenses of providing something as simple. This seems as simple to us as getting hearing aids, but it changed his life.
I got to tell you, that's a great example of how these dollars are used, and hearing aids, and I know this because my father's got them, they're very expensive, and I can't imagine what that must do to a family and what that gift has done for that family. You're doing great work, Dave. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for the work that you guys are doing. Again, it's uhccf.org. Dave, it's been great having you on the show. United Healthcare Children's Foundation. Please consider them if you know someone that could utilize their help. You've been listening to Health Futures. My name is Bob Roth. Make it a great day and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress HomeCare Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Hi, I'm Corey Schuyler, owner of Core Fitness. My team of certified personal trainers want to help you look great and get into great shape. We'll listen to your needs and develop a tailored workout that will get you results. We help our clients lose weight, improve their balance, get stronger, and feel awesome. You will have more confidence whether out in the town or playing your favorite sport. You can try us out for 21 days for $21. Call us at 480-620-3000. Email us at Corey, C-O-R-Y, at corefitnessaz.com.
Money Radio 1510
and 99.3 FM.
Is KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K257 CD Phoenix. You've heard of the bucket strategy of investing. That's why you should listen to Money Radio every weekday at 11 a.m. And you can call in with your questions. Dow is down 24 points now. The NASDAQ is down 6 and the S&P 500 down 1.5.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin now.